a documentary that was on national television in 1964. I'm David Hoffman, filmmaker. I think you're going to find this really interesting. It's about this guy, James Eastland, Senator James Eastland, a devout segregationist who really believed Negroes were inferior. Now, the guy who shot this, who was a colleague of mine, he took a great risk at doing this, going down to Mississippi and shooting the people who were on James Eastland's plantation. This quote from James Eastland will give you a sense of what he thought. Quote, "I have no prejudice in my heart, but the white race is the superior race, and the Negro race an inferior race, and the races must be kept separate by law." Another quote from Eastland. There was a youth hostel being set up in his state, and it was integrated, which he did not like. Here's what he said. "You've inserted the thin end of the wedge by allowing the stinking N-word into such a fine hotel." Nice guy. He was one of those senators who in World War II said that the Negroes should not be fighting in the war because they are inferior fighters, and he was against giving them any support when they returned home. As you probably know, the black soldiers returning home didn't get the same support from the government that white soldiers got. Really unfair. And James Eastland was one of the key guys in that. So who's James Eastland? Well, his grandparents or great-grandparents were slaveholders, and they had a big plantation. And James Eastland still had that plantation, a cotton-growing plantation. And on the plantation were these crappy little houses, and he had the sharecroppers live in those houses for free.
Senator Eastland has never done nothing for nobody poor, not in this county. Because the people on Senator Eastland's plantation is just as poor as I am. And he hadn't done anything for them. And he hadn't done anything for nobody else that's poor in Sunflower County. And I've been right here in Sunflower County since I was 2 years old.
Within sight of the busy cotton gin she is supplied with her labor in these fields, Mrs. Irene Taylor lives with her family of 9. Hers is one of the few remaining tenant shacks that grace the senator's plantation.
Well, I think he mighty nice about that because he told me to stay there as long as I want to stay in that house. I'm in. He said, as long as I live, as long as I want to stay in the house, I could stay there. And any kind of help that he said that if I need amongst my children kind of sickness, he'll help me sometimes.
Some of Senator Eastland's tenants left the plantation to talk with reporter Nick Kotz. They came to talk about hunger, but water and electricity and the minimum necessities kept creeping into the conversation. In the society of indebtedness, the food bill is the last bill.
You know, you have to pay tax on that money, what you borrow. You know, any money you borrow is 2 bits on a dollar. You know that.
No, go over that. In other words, when you borrow money from Senator Eastland, you've got to pay an interest?
Yeah, I had to pay interest on it.
Tell us about that. Go all the way through and tell us how that works.
Yeah, see, when I borrow it, just like I borrowed $30, well, I'm got to pay 2 bits on every one of them dollars I borrowed from him.
So they're not getting anything free. If they loan them money, they might have to pay that double instead of just paying maybe 10% on the dollar. They're not giving them anything.
The elderly are at the bottom of the poverty class. Mr. Edwards here shares quarters with 2 people who are not even related to him. Medical expenses consume their meager incomes. For the old, food stamps are a distant dream.
Shalom. Call HALAL YAHAWAH, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI, BAHASHAM, RAWCHAA, QADASH. Double honors unto the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone who taught me this truth, who rule well. Enough respect and salutations to like-minded individuals, the fellow Achium, House of David. Peace and salutations to you, brothers. Yahawah, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI, Barakatham. To you, as well as the few sincere YAHAWAH that are listening and learning as well. This is your brother YAHAWASHI coming to you again with this 100% doctrine. And got another little part of this this clip here, this video here to play. Nevertheless, we're going to address, all right, these things because these people have never done anything, never for nobody, as the lady said, man. you know, and it's being manifested now, but our people don't see it. You understand? This is how these people think about us, and we talking about your local government, all right, your national government, so-called white man, Esau, Edom. All right, they have always been our enemies, and they have always been using usury and getting over, making no account for our labors. All right, we're gonna get into these scriptures, Lord, with us be edifying and comforting. We're gonna start off in the book of Psalms, chapter 25. This is verse 16, and it reads, "Turn thee unto me, and have mercy upon me, for I am desolate and afflicted." Yeah, we was left out in the cold, man. All right, we was left out for the dog to lick our wounds, for the rich man to treat us in the way he continued to treat us by his laws, his legislations, his policies. You know, you're still considered 3/5 of a man according to their constitution. All right, so we are left desolate, you see, and afflicted. The wounds, that was barely getting healed until you came into the truth. You see, it says, "The troubles of my heart are enlarged. O bring thou me out of my distress." And this is what our people need. This is in 1964. All right, it's not even 60 years ago, if I got my math correct. So these laws they had on the plantations, these sharecropping laws that they have on the plantation, which you need to look that up, sharecropping, Google it. Hey, these are the same laws being manifested in front of our face now, being dangling in front of us, man. You know, the taxes, the unjust, the unrighteousness. It says, "Look upon mine affliction and my pain, and forgive all my sins," because we the ones that, move YAHAWASHI, all right, to wrath. Matter of fact, let's just go ahead and go there. Real quick, we'll go back. This is Baruch 4 and 6. It says, "Ye were sold to the nations, not for your destruction, but because ye moved the Most High to wrath, ye were delivered unto the enemies." You see, so we're the ones have to take fault in that, acknowledge our offenses, our iniquities, because everybody can say, "Oh, that was a bad time," well, that was not too long ago, man. Some of our folks are still living, 60 plus. So if you was down here, you probably was living on a plantation, It says 25 and 18. It says, "Look upon my affliction and my pain, and forgive all my sins. Consider mine enemies, for they are many, and they hate me with cruel hatred." Let's look up that word "cruel" right quick, because you people seem you is brutal, harsh, willfully causing pain or suffering to others, or feeling no concern about it. And you people seem to have forgotten that factor, that the Lord has sent a strange nation of strange language upon us, to pretty much whoop our ass. And our folks have forgot about that, Yeah, there's hope, of course, in the end, because, what he's did to this chosen, matter of fact, because y'all touch a precious thing. Zechariah chapter 2 verse 8, it says, "For thus saith the Lord Yahawah, YAHAWASHI of hosts, after the glory has sent me unto the nations which spoiled you, for he that toucheth you touches the apple of his eye." You see that? All right, and these are just laws. These sharecropping laws, these certain IRS laws, it's simple, that holds a lot back. You understand? But it's set up in that way. You see? Let's go back to here.
may wonder at the ways of Washington, but it's too old to make any demands. But when Mr. Edwards looks at Doddsville through the eyes of his son returning from Vietnam, it's a different point of view.
I think he ought to have some of what he needs. I think he ought to have a good home to live in. I think he ought to have bathrooms in his house. I think he ought to have everything that a poor man could have, especially when he went up against what's going on in Vietnam. So I think so myself if I had to go to Vietnam. I think if I went and took all the punishment and everything happened to me while I was in Vietnam, and then come back home and couldn't have a decent bed to lay down in and not a decent job, I don't think I'd feel like ever going back no more. If it was for my country, I wouldn't feel like this for my country. Not especially for my part of it, for me. I feel like it's for the other fellas did to me.
When I think about that and how hungry people are in the South, then it makes me a little sick to say, how can they spend all that much money in another country and really not doing nothing at home? See, I think charity began at home and then spread abroad.
Mississippi is a small state and a poor one. Federal funds and federal programs can help to change that. The food stamp plan was announced as a program to feed the hungry, but the people it has failed are those who have no money. Every evening as the federal workday ends, the men and women who read the reports from Doddsville head home for their dinner. The question of how to feed the hungry must still go with them.
And there it is, man. You know, let's get back to these scriptures. Let's go to the book of Proverbs 28:8. It says, he that by usury and unjust gain increases his substance. You see that? He shall gather it for him that will pity the poor. Who is this talking about? You see? Who would you put into this scripture here? Esau, Edom, the so-called white man. You know? Matter of fact, because this is a terrible sight to see him, us calling him out on his offenses. You know, Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 5 and verse 1. Then shall the righteous man stand in great boldness before the face of such as have afflicted him. You know, and made no account of his labors, and you have not. Here it is, you pay every nation under the sun that you had in subjection or that you bombed. All right, that's you calling to the world dominance, world peace. You know, when you bomb a nation or you know, third world nation for their resources, just to get in and get their resources. All right, when you inflict on them your laws, your legislations, you know, the whole world is turning upside down under the vibration of Esau, Edom, man, the so-called white man, you know. But here it is, we expose you for what you've been doing, man. You have been made no account for our labors, and YAHAWASHI got us on that, you know. Lord will, you know, we continue and we endure, all right. Nevertheless, it's written anyway that he's coming, all right, with his host, man. And that's something you got to face, Esau. You know, this is Romans 8. This is 16. It says, the Spirit bear witness, the Spirit itself bear witness with our spirit that we are the children of the Most High. You see, what nation has went through such, you know, brutal, harsh punishment as we went through? And it is punishment from BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI, if you have an understanding, you know. And this is why you people think our power is just a soft, geared towards one emotion, love type power. No, man, you know, that makes him imperfect. Hey, our power is perfect. All right, he has a balance. You know, so same way he can love, he can be angry. You know, that was punishment from him over our transgressions. Verse 17, and if children, then heirs of the Most High, and joint heirs with Hamashiach, the anointed, if so be that we suffer with him, that we may be also glorified together. So yeah, we're going to catch hell. We're gonna go through the you know, the sad perils and trials, you know, that we may be accounted, you know, worthy of, you know, have mercy upon us in the day of the Lord's wrath, man, when he's about to come down. You understand? And this goes to show you that they don't know who they fuck with. You know, they forgot. Their forefathers do. The elites know. You see, those 1%ers, they know. But these regular average Joes, you know, these Karens and Kens out here, you know, they have no idea. This is the book of Hosea, chapter 1. This is verse 10. It says, "Yet the number of the children of Israel shall be as the sand of the sea, which cannot be measured nor numbered. And it shall come to pass that in the place where it was said unto them, Ye are not my people, there it shall be said unto them, Ye are the sons of the living power." And this guy, James Eastland, man, or you know, whatever his name is, if I got his name right, you can, you know, rewind it back. You know, senator in Mississippi. You know, that was before Congress. All right. And, you know, these folks, we down here, we had a guy named Bull Connor. I Google him. He brought out the hoses and dogs if you try to go vote. You know, so we've been downtrodden. We've been said we wasn't shit. We've been said we're lesser. All right, it's written in the books that we're lesser a man than they are. But it's gonna come to find out that no, we just on a higher frequency than them, man. You know, we on a whole new level. All right, we think above and beyond the things that are carnal, and you people still worried about, you know, you know, keeping us down, man. Either the victory is gotten. Let's end this off with the book of Galatians, chapter 4. This is verse 6. It says, "And because ye are sons, the Most High has sent forth the Spirit of His Son into your heart." You see that? You see that? Hey, that's a thing to be thankful for, man. The water YAHAWASHI, YAHAWASHI. That He continue to have this Spirit on us, man. This resilient spirit to continue to push this word, man. You know? Crying, "Abba, Father," all right, which Father? You know, Father, Father. "Wherefore thou art no more a servant, but a son, and if a son, then an heir of the Most High through Hamashiach." You see that? So we have to go through YAHAWASHI, YAHAWASHI. We have to endure the afflictions, all right? We have to bear the cross as He did, all right? Every man according to his measure, of course. Nevertheless, these things won't be revealed. You know, if you still ain't amped up about prophecy, about what's about to go down, I don't know what to tell you, man. You ain't in the right spirit. Hey, so with that, Lord Williams, edifying and comforting. Shalom. On to the next.